capital of the Cook Islands. Nestled in the Pacific on the edge of the international date line, this is one of the last places in the world to see the sun each day. Everywhere else, it's tomorrow, which is just fine. Friday night at the Vaka Lounge might shatter Rarotonga's reputation as the place to go for some peace and quiet, but then Friday night has a reputation of its own to keep up. In bars like the Vaka, like Trader Jack's, like the Banana Court and the Blue Flamingo, tourists and locals mix it until the small hours, and often beyond. Saturday morning, understandably, there aren't quite as many people around. The island has a couple of these little convertibles for hire, as well as plenty of rental scooters. And as long as you're up by 9 or 10, you'll find some action down in the market at Avarua, Rarotonga's main town.
Morning.
Morning.
I'd like to buy a coconut, please.
Yes.
Some of the best food on the island is also the cheapest. And if you've a taste for tropical fruit, you can breakfast in great style for very little. There are a couple of other Cook Island specialities you shouldn't miss. In the Beachcomber Gallery, once the Mission Sunday School, owner Joan Rolls has gathered examples of a unique Cook Island craft, tivaivai, or hand-worked bedspreads. Tivaivai were once sewn only as gifts for important occasions. Now they're starting to attract worldwide attention and sell for many thousands of dollars. As do these. Black pearls, a type found only in the Cooks and Tahiti. How much is this particular strand?
This strand is $16,000. But you really have 3 pieces of jewellery here. You can take this off. You have a choker, like that. And then you have a bracelet.
Oh. 3 pieces of jewellery for $16,000. A bargain. In a way, this sort of luxury seems a bit out of place here. But if you can afford it, you can indulge yourself.
At the top end of the market, you can stay in one of these villas for $450 a night.
But you can also find motel-like units like these for around $50 per person. Both are on the beach, and the beach seems to be the place most tourists head for. On the back roads too, away from the water, you can get a sense of an older island in the deep jungles. And in the ancient sacred sites, or marae, that dot the countryside. But the other great force that shaped the Cooks is the one that's pushed aside the old religion. The church is still the centre of island life, and on Sunday morning, just to be seen here is important, inside or outside the service. It's a part of island life not to miss, for the beauty of the singing alone. But remember to dress for it, and respect the church's rule against filming inside the service. It's a small prohibition when you think of the strictness of the church's past law.
Last century, islanders could be fined or thrown in jail for such crimes as playing cards or going from one village to another on the Sabbath. And perhaps the most curious of all, crying at the funeral of a woman who wasn't your relative. But when the missionaries finally relinquished their rule, there was one part of the Cooks' culture they hadn't been able to change. At Rarotonga's cultural village, you can see daily performances of the dances that so upset the missionaries, as sensual as those from Hawaii or Tahiti, but with a tempo all their own. In this part of the culture, tourism has had a positive effect for once, helping to encourage dance troupes to grow and compete. Island nights like these are held at all the major resorts. This one at the Rarotongan begins with the opening of an umu, a traditional earth oven. The show that follows is partly for the tourists and partly for the performers themselves. And the final part of the evening, where you get dragged in to show how good or bad you are, is for everyone's enjoyment.
the spirit is not quite the technique of the Bucker Lounge. And you don't have to worry too much about tomorrow, because after all, this is the last place in the world it comes to. Yesterday, though, had the chance to see a city rediscovering itself. The Wall ran just over there, leaving the famous Brandenburg